Good afternoon, Mas Alvin.
Good afternoon, Mas Aidil.
How are you feeling today?
I am feeling well today. And how about you?
I'm very well. Thanks for asking me back. So, welcome to the IELTS speaking simulation. We're going to do your IELTS speaking post test for about 15 minutes at maximum. Are you ready, Mas Alvin?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, without further ado, let's begin with a proper introduction. What is your full name?
My name is Alvin Misrantaramizi. You can call me Alvin as my first name.
Are you a student or do you work or are you a student?
I work at Indonesia's government-owned company named PLN, and I work at Adipala Coal Power Stations in Cilacap.
Okay. I would like to remind you to speak loud as possible. Okay, because we are in the Zoom. First of all, let's talk about school days, Mas Alvin. Tell me something about your secondary school.
For my secondary school, I want to tell you about when in Semarang. I have my secondary school at SMU Secondary School of Semarang #1. That is the best secondary school in Semarang, which have many facilities, including swimming pool and the other benefits of school at the secondary school. There was its location, which is quite near from the city, with the famous mall near from the school.
Wonderful. Which subject did you find most difficult at school?
Yes. Typical. I think I have historical subject that mostly made me feel bored, and sometimes because I'm not I didn't have any ability to remind some I don't have ability to remind many of history things, and because of in other way, I think I'm a logical person that will possibly think with logical thinking, and I prefer to have mathematics subjects than history subjects previous.
Very well. Do you ever need that subject now? Why or why not?
You mean subject of mathematics or
No,
subject
history that you
history?
said is boring,
Yes.
difficult.
Yes. I think currently I need some history subjects, because it could remind, and it could also remember how our heroes fought against the invaders, and we could also have telling the story about the history to our children, and it will make some never-ending heritage and a base foundations for our future generations.
What did you enjoy about being a school student?
Being a school student, it will be much more enjoyable than being kind of like university students. When we are getting or we are when we are entry at the first moment, we could find a wide range of friends, and we could also however in a school we'll have many kind of activities that will support our hobbies, and also that support our subjects as well, like playing the band and playing the football, that also support our exercise subjects and also the music subjects as well.
All right. Now let's talk about buildings, Mas Alvin. Are there any famous buildings in your hometown?
I live in Purwokerto, which is it's not as big as Semarang as capital city in Central Java, but Purwokerto has one famous building named Rita Supermall, which is the biggest shopping center in our city, and it has many fancy storage there that we could find culinary and also an outfit storage at there.
I see. In what type of building do most people in your hometown live?
In my the residents of Purwokerto, generally they live in one houses which have 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, and they live in some houses area in, because there's no apartment which built in the city, so all of the people live in housing area.
Okay. Should buildings be attractive to look at, you think?
Actually, it depends on the purposes of that building. So when the building is built for some kind like leisure activities or other like kind like of theater, it should be made with some vibrant vibrant color, or maybe some some interested color, so people who want to went there, they will be easily find that building.
All right. Last question in this first part, Mas Alvin. What is the most unusual building you have ever seen?
I think the most unusual buildings that I ever seen, it is a library in this current era, which I think library has no benefits, because people tend to using their gadgets and directly download to the internet, and they are using their own e-books or other gadgets like computers, laptops, their smartphones, and it was much more effortless than we should went to the library near to our hometown.
All right, that's the end of the first part. Let's continue to the second part, Mas Alvin. So basically in the second part, I'm going to give you a cue card. I'm going to share my slide. I'm gonna share with you your cue card consisting of a topic and 4 details of 4 questions. So please prepare of your piece of paper and a pencil. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. So I want you to describe. Wait. All right, Mas Alvin, I want you to describe an interesting story that you heard or read about in the news. You should say when you heard or read about the story, what the story was about, why the story was in the news, and explain why you thought the story was interesting. You have 1 minute to take notes, and afterwards you have 2 minutes to speak about the topic and answer all the questions. I'm gonna time you for 1 minute. You have 1 minute to take notes. Start from now. All right, time is up. Please stop writing. Thank you. You have 1 to 2 minutes, Mas Alvin, to speak about a topic and answer all the questions provided. You may start speaking now.
I'm going to talk about new inventions of electric vehicles recently that I found the news and I heard from my friends, and after being discussed with my friends, then I directly opened the TV programs on my on my home, and I found that the TV programs of speed has describes a new inventions of technology of EV, that it could wirelessly charging with the same brands of with the same brand car like such as Hyundai's and Kia's. And so what is important about these things, because normally EV will be charged to the wall stations or in some port stations or maybe charging stations in next to our city. But this new inventions of new wireless charging of EV, it has many benefits. That first, it could be charging within two cars with the same brand, like Hyundai's and Kia, as I mentioned before. And it was invented directly, which is important inventions recently, because many people will lose their battery in a long range of distance when they went to to another city with a wide range of distance. And I'm feeling so blue about these inventions, because
All right, time is up. Thank you so much for that story, Mas Alvin. You may put down your pencil and a piece of paper. Thank you.
Okay, ready.
Next, we're going to proceed. We're going to proceed to the last part of the test, which is none other than part 3. Okay, so basically in this last part of the test, I'm going to ask you 2 or more questions about the topic that you got in previous part. In general, questions about it. So first of all, let's consider reading newspapers, Mas Alvin. When do people like to read the newspaper?
People like to read newspaper in the early morning, when they have maybe in our country that for most of our country that has regions of Muslim, they will get early getting early in the getting wake up in the early morning, and they will get breakfast. After that, I think the best time to read a newspaper is after the early morning prayer.
I see. And how important is it for people to have a choice of newspaper?
Newspapers sending a lot of informations that it will be benefits for us, and so the people should that depends on the people which informations that they need. And so what kind of newspapers they will be provided, it depends on their purposes, such as an engineer, they would like a newspaper which have many informations about new technology, and the other, it will be a doctor or scientist which prefer to have a lot of documentary and about the discovery channels that will be provided on the newspapers.
Understandably. What does a good newspaper contain?
good newspapers contains it should be have the most interesting title and recently in this era I think millionaires would be love to enjoy a vibrant newspaper which have a lot of colors, and it will be more easy. It will be much more easier for the readers to count the informations on the news.
Okay. Next, let's move on to talk about the future of newspapers. Mas Alvin, why do some people choose to read the news on the internet rather than in a newspaper?
Because reading e-newspapers will have a lot of benefits that instead of manual newspapers, that when we are reading e-newspapers, we are effortless, and we just provide one gadget with limitless text of the newspapers, and also it was priceless because we have uh, we ha we have nothing to pay in the internet, uh, and we just need our data that should be provided uh, despite of our gadgets such as laptops, computers, and smartphones. So it will be much more benefits than reading newspapers that will have tons of text and tons of weight to bring it on front of our table.
Okay, good. How is internet news different from the news you read in the newspaper?
Yes, as I mentioned, that newspapers will have much more benefits, like for its uh, colorless that I'm sorry for its vibrant color that in the internet we could find many many informations that are much more interested than the newspaper, which have old fashioned like white and black color that in internet newspapers we could find many informations that colored in different style and within different text color and text style, of course, that it will make the readers will become easier on getting the informations as well.
What about the differences between internet news and printed newspapers in terms of the content? Is there any content differences between the two?
Actually, there are no big difference on the content, but the big difference are the design of the content. While the manual newspaper, they are old-fashioned, and the internet newspapers will design very pretty well, which have vibrant colors and uh, informative.
Okay, cool. Let's have the last question for now. Mas Alvin, sorry. In your opinion, will internet news ever replace newspapers in the future?
Of course, as because my fathers and my mothers and my fathers and my parents, which already every day they bought manual newspapers and they read manually every morning. And since the e-newspapers are become more popular, I think my father's mother just also neglected to follow the manual newspapers and start to read e-newspapers. So in other case, people with the same intents like my fathers or my mothers will have same conditions, and they will try to move on from the newspapers to the e-newspapers.
Great. That is the end of our speaking test. Thank you so much for your time and cooperation, Mas Alvin.